But with that, I think we're ready to jump on into the action here with game number 1 coming up between MicroGamerZ and Seed Gaming. Our players are going to be Mysticism from MicroGamerZ and Baldwin from Root Seed.
That's right. So looking at Baldwin here, we actually don't have any information on him, but there's a great looking picture of him there. He is a Zerg player. He is a Grandmaster, and he will be going up against a Zerg opponent.
Actually, I beg to differ. We have all kinds of information. Jonathan Baldwin is a 19-year-old American, formerly a competitive Halo 3 player, switched to StarCraft 2 after seeing it at MLG event in 2012. He played at MLG 2012 Winter Championships and won $150 in gear at the Esports Initiative. He achieved a Grandmaster for the first time in 2013, picked up by Seed in March of 2014 at Gallegation.
All right, I must have the wrong file there for that. At any rate, his opponent this evening is going to be Mysticism. You can find him at twitch.tv/steadyhead21. He's also known as Galaxy, and he is most strongly associated with his former and current team MVP. Prior to MVP, he lived in the Project Supreme house, and then on July 26, 2011, he joined Team Gosu Gamers, left the team on December 2nd, and subsequently joined Rising Star. After they disbanded, he returned to MVP, but on March 26, 2013, he no longer registered with MVP and joined MicroGamerZ February 2nd, 2014 under the new name Mysticism. He also offers coaching at $15 per hour. So check him out on his Twitch channel. If you like what he's doing, go ahead and follow him on that channel. Check him out and hit him up for that coaching.
Absolutely, and that's a really, really reasonable rate for coaching from a Grandmaster.
Absolutely.
So definitely check that out. But let's jump on into game number 1 featuring these two great teams. We have a ZVZ to lead off the night tonight, Gallegation. In the lower left-hand corner representing blue, MicroGamerZ. Almost said the wrong team. His name is Mysticism.
And in the top right-hand corner representing Root Seed, it is Baldwin.
I always two teams in the SC2CTL this season, MicroGamerZ and Miraculous Gaming, are incredibly close on the tip of my tongue at any given point. It has been pretty rough, but
that is reasonable.
But we'll survive. But we've got MicroGamerZ versus Root Seed here on a way station with a gastric coming out of Mysticism right away. So he is going to get them drones up early. And as the Overlord comes out, he does make more and more. But Baldwin has a spawning pool coming down decently early here. It is a 10 pool, looks like, with a gas to follow it up. So we're going to see some double gas.
Interesting.
Or are we? Oh, double gastric. Okay, I was going to say, that is really odd to have double gas coming this early. This has to be a gastric.
Yeah, this is a real early pool here. He's going to be doing some aggression, certainly, but his opponent has a pool going down as well. So it'll be interesting. I mean, the pool just got started, so there's going to be, about, 30 seconds there where there's lings versus no lings. But we will see how he's able to defend. My hunch is that not a ton of damage is going to get done here by these lings.
Yeah, it's going to take him a while to get across the map, and Mysticism, as a result of his opening play here, he did do a gastric into his pool. He has 3 additional workers currently going into that, but he's going to go ahead and put down an early expansion here as well. So that actually might be something for these Zerglings to hack away at here for a minute, but his pool is going to be finishing up, so hopefully he will be making a queen immediately, and even a couple Zerglings would be handy to hold this off. And out comes 6 Zerglings, so he is going to be okay, I believe. These Zerglings are halfway across the map right now, headed towards Mysticism.
But those now are going to finish up right around the same time as these lings for Baldwin are able to get much of anything done here.
I mean, they're going to hack away at this expansion here, but I don't think they'll be able to get the cancel out as the Zerglings of Mysticism are on the way. And he did pull some drones here, too. If he's not careful, he might lose one. But an additional pair of lings coming up from Baldwin here, so this actually could be a little bit tough here for Mysticism. He's going to have some really good micro, but that's what we've seen in these ZVZs, man. These early, low-economy, intense micro ZVZ games this season so far.
That's right, and so here's the engagement. It looks like Mysticism is moving in and getting some decent trades here with Baldwin's Zerglings. No drones were killed. or harmed in the making of this play. So Baldwin is moving on his way back home, seeing that he wasn't able to get a whole lot done with that. So how do you feel about, getting such an early pool, but then not really able to capitalize on a whole lot when you move in like that? I mean, obviously you pulled 4 drones away from the mineral patches. That is some pain in the lost mining time, but didn't really kill anything.
Yeah, I mean, it was an early pool, but it wasn't terribly early, and it wasn't like an all in, I'm definitely going to win with this. It was more one of those, I'm just going to be a little bit aggressive and poke at you, keep you honest kind of builds. And it did. I mean, Mysticism now, he built a spine crawler. He made lings, he made extra queens. Maybe he didn't want to make that second queen right away. So, and it may even show a little bit in the drone count, as Mysticism has 15 workers and Baldwin has 19. So he actually has a worker lead. But there are Zerglings from Mysticism in the drone line of Baldwin, giving a little bit of trouble there, but not enough to really do a whole lot of damage. 1 drone was killed this day for Mysticism on Baldwin, so not going to make any earth-shattering changes there. But Baldwin is a little bit ahead at this point, but it is going to change because Mysticism has his expansion.
Yeah, and Mysticism looks like he's going to be focusing on economy now. He did see that Baneling nest, and now he has 3 spine crawlers in production at the natural. There are 2 queens blocking the ramp, so Banelings aren't going to be able to get a ton done here. That is a lot of spine crawlers. I feel like it may have been a bit of an overcompensation, but he did see a lot of Zerglings, and that could get real scary real quickly.
Well, also Mysticism here has an Overlord that's heading into the natural expansion of Baldwin, so he's going to see that there isn't a natural, so he's going to know that that big aggression is coming. So we will see, but I think these spine crawlers will turn out to be pretty good because, I mean, Mysticism does have that extra base, and the drone lead he still has by quite a large margin, so even though he used those drones to make the spine crawlers, he is still quite ahead economically.
Yeah, but Baldwin is building a big army. He clearly is kind of going all in here. He really wants to seal the deal right now. Maxed out at 42. The Zerglings are moving in, covering for the 7 Banelings that are moving in, trying to head into the main, but they are going to run right into those queens and pop on them. And looks like one of those queens is going to fall, so the Zerglings are able to get into the main, and there's not a whole lot here other than this queen. So now Mysticism's got to be careful here. He's going to be pulling the drones to attack at the Zerglings, trying to get the strand on the queen, but are unable to. That queen does fall.
Yeah, I think Mysticism can afford to lose a few drones here, so I like what he's doing. He kind of used that queen while he could to help out those drones, and now a little bit of micro. And does have a large batch of lings come out, so he's going to easily hold this off. And at this point, he is so far ahead of Baldwin.
Yeah, Baldwin's only really successfully killed like 5 workers. So not really the the outcome that you'd like to see after an investment like that. 2 Banelings are being morphed here, but it looks like Mysticism's got eyes on them and should not be having any problems to clean that up. Baldwin behind this is trying to put down a natural expansion to try and keep himself back in the game, but the drone count is currently it's about
pretty even right now. But Mysticism has had this base up so much longer, and he's got so much more defenses, so he doesn't really have to spend as much. He doesn't have to hurry up and get the Roach Warren as fast necessarily with all these spine crawlers out here. He can kind of go for that econ right now and get himself ahead, while the natural expansion of Baldwin is just coming down. He is just starting to switch into that, but now with the Lings of Mysticism here, Baldwin doesn't really have much defense at all, so he's just going to kind of move on here. Oh, but the Banelings on the ramp take out all the Zerglings.
So that army
never mind.
Lead has kind of reversed itself, and we're back in the Stone Age.
Well, but I mean, let's be honest, that wasn't the best trade for Baldwin. Yes, it was. He did prevent what was going in there, but the resources lost are 400 in favor of Mysticism right now, because that was like 6 Banelings that blew up on 10 Zerglings, so it's quite an investment there for Baldwin, where 2 Banelings would have probably gotten the same job done.
Sure.
So, it is, it's the small things, but in ZVZ, we've just seen so much of the small things make the hugest difference. But now, Mysticism does have a Roach Warren down here at the front. He has a Queen here ready to block off as well, knowing that those Speedlings and Banelings are still on the map. Mysticism going to be repositioning his spine crawlers here. It looks like Baldwin is still just kind of hanging around here. And everyone, Deezer just got the iPhone 5S, and it's so sick.
He's really excited about it, guys. You should message him and let him know how happy you are for him. It looks like Baldwin is actually teching really hard here. He hasn't, he's trying to transition into something else, clearly trying to get into more range Roach tech or even high. Actually, it looks like he's getting that +1 range, maybe going for Hydra Tech, but roaches are on their way.
Both players have kind of the similar thing going down here. Lair at the similar time, at +1 range at the same time.
Yeah, I feel like Baldwin is playing kind of greedily here. He's going for tech. He's going for that third base with really not a whole lot to guard him. He's got 4 roaches and 3 banelings on the field right now, but his opponent, Mysticism, literally only has queens, so he's not putting on any aggression anytime soon.
Yeah, but he's also got a very good static defense up front here with these spine crawlers. He's got them spread out nicely, and Queen's a little mad at that spine crawler there in the middle, taking some hits on that. But roach speed and upgrades coming out for Baldwin, so we are going to see some roach from him. He is producing those 9 on the way for Mysticism as well, so we're going to have one of those epic roach v roach matches here, it looks like, while there are a couple Zerglings of Baldwin hacking away at the third expansion of Mysticism. So third base is coming down at similar timings for both players, but we haven't really seen a whole lot of craziness out of either one. I mean, we just got roaches so far with the same upgrades. +1/+1 is on its way for Mysticism. +1 attack ranged is complete for Baldwin, so that defensive upgrade of the carapace is going to be a bit of an advantage here for Mysticism.
Yeah, Mysticism is going to have the upgrade advantage, as you said, depending on how quickly Baldwin decides to move in here. He is researching the missile attack level 2, but he's still got like 3 minutes left on that thing. So it's going to be quite some time before that comes into play. It just depends on when he decides he wants to move in here, but Mysticism may have other plans before that's allowed to finish.
Yeah, and we've seen a couple different transitions out of this. We've seen where where one player decides to start working in the Hydralisk at some point, and depending on that timing and the losses they've taken, that can really turn out to be really good or just be the writing on your grave. But Baldwin moving in here with a number of roaches does take out a queen, it looks like.
It was a spine crawler, actually.
Okay, spine crawler. I just switched to it as I saw the blood splatter. But the roach numbers are definitely in favor of Mysticism here, as well as the armor upgrade, as we mentioned. So he is going to shoo away Baldwin quite easily there, actually.
Yeah, and Mysticism's kind of looking pretty strong here. I'm curious as to how Baldwin... I mean, Baldwin's clearly looking for kind of a weak point, but Mysticism's being very intentional about where he's placing his army, where his static defense is being placed. Looks like Baldwin did try and send a small group of roaches straight into the main. Mysticism briefly took the bait, but had 2 groups of roaches here, so he's going to be able to deal with that fairly easily.
Yeah, still just all roaches all the time out of both players. Baneling speed coming down from Baldwin, so I'm not exactly sure how he plans to work on that, unless he just plans to try and sneak some banelings into a mineral line somewhere, which is oftentimes terrible, especially in a ZVZ where creep is creeping up the entire map, working out for both ways. But this concave for Baldwin is pretty impressive, forcing Mysticism away a little bit there. So Baldwin was definitely set up and ready for that attack there from Mysticism.
Yeah, he's got a really good split going on there too, so a very natural concave will form, and Mysticism decides he doesn't want to engage into that. He's going to go right on home and starting to add Hydralisk to his army, as well as he is getting that range upgrade for them at the moment.
Yeah, I think that's really smart, especially since he has a little bit of an upgraded advantage. +2 attack is done for Baldwin, so he has a little bit of attack, but that's kind of offset by the armor that Mysticism has, which his armor level 2 is about to finish up here. Hydra's doing so much DPS behind all of these roaches are going to be pretty awesome, but those banelings are coming in too, so, I mean, in ZVZ, it's all about the control, it's all about the positioning, as with a lot of the mirror matchups, but I think more so in ZVZ. So if he can get those banelings in the right position, he could actually get a good engagement here from Baldwin, but we'll see what Mysticism has up his sleeves, and if he has enough time to get out a number of Hydras to make a huge difference here, as Baldwin is moving across the map. Obviously, Mysticism knows with the creep there, he knows that baneling speed is done too, as they are rolling on around, but a nice split here coming from Mysticism as Baldwin had before, but Baldwin is going to and a juke to the right here a little bit. Is he going to commit? I'm not sure yet.
It looks like he's kind of splitting both of his forces. Yeah, he's going to move right in there. Banelings are going through the center, but they're crashing entirely on roaches. Yeah. It looks like the concave is favoring Mysticism here, but Baldwin is doing really good. He's moving in forward and more, but those Hydras showing their worth as they're moving in there, forcing Baldwin to retreat.
The +2 carapace finished up right at the end of that engagement too, right as Baldwin started to move back. But with that huge upgrade advantage, Mysticism should just push right on in here.
And that looks exactly like what he's doing. The Hydralisks are attacking, the Roaches are covering, and Baldwin's units are getting decimated here. The army continues to push forward, and now doing a little bit of a juke dance, moving right on into the third.
Yeah, just like we mentioned, those Hydralisks, definitely the money unit there for Mysticism. He made that transition at exactly the right time, I feel like, because, and, you know, it was just so sad for Baldwin. Those Banelings just rolled right on through and just crashed right into the line of Roaches at the front. That was pretty much what sealed the deal. If he may have been able to get those kind of off around to the right and through the back, he may have been able to connect with some of those Hydras there as they were sort of distracted with the Roaches. But alas, it is what it is. It was a good setup by Mysticism, a good push in by Baldwin, but he just kind of had the lead from the get-go and never really made any big enough mistakes to lose it.
Yeah, agreed. And Baldwin was playing aggressively. He was playing greedy, somewhat, you know. And I really liked his playstyle, but ultimately he just wasn't able to break through those Spinecrawler defenses. And the placement of Roaches was just really well done for Mysticism. So Mysticism knew he had the lead, just trying to hold on to it, and managed to do so. And made good engagements there, able to take out those Banelings, as he said. That really swung it in his favor. So he's able to wrap up game number 1. Going into game number 2 here, we do